So here we are in the Silcock room of the library at Leatherhead, named after long-time archivist Terry Silcock. What I'm going to show you now is the equipment that we're going to use for scanning. We're going to be using the sheet scanner, which is intended for prints and loose items. So to give you an idea of the kind of material we can scan, here's a typical box full of prints. It's a shoebox, and there are between 800 and 1,000 prints in this box, and they've got caption information on the back and the image on the front. So these are going to be fed through the sheet scanner, which is here, but I'll show you what all the various parts are before we start scanning. So the scanner itself is called the Epson FF680. It's specifically intended for sheet scanning, particularly with photographs. There are other machines on the market that are more oriented towards documents, but this includes various features for managing photographs. Connected to it is a mini computer. So the mini computer is there. That is quite a powerful computer. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM, and that's important for managing photographs which are quite data intensive. Then there's a monitor and a keyboard and the mouse, and this all connects to the file server, and so we'll be scanning directly to the file server. The computer here is simply acting as a controller. It doesn't store any of the files itself. Now, to turn on the machine, what I've found is that the connection between the computer and the scanner tends to be more reliable if you switch on the scanner first, which I've done. So now I'm ready to turn on the computer, and we'll take a pause whilst that all boots up. So now the computer's switched on, our next task is to prepare the prints that we're going to scan. Now the machine can't deal with the whole box at once. We typically need to pick up a quantity of prints that's, I would estimate, is maybe 30 or 40 prints like that. So maybe half a centimetre in thickness. The prints themselves need to be presented to the scanner in the correct orientation. So the correct way to do this is with face down and with the image facing towards us. And you'll see on the scanner there are some guides that I'm moving to just nudge the prints together, and then when they've been arranged I slightly part them so there's a little bit of wiggle room when we start scanning. Next piece is to go to the software on the computer, and you'll see that there are two icons at the bottom. One is Epson Fast Photo and the other is Epson Smart Scan. Now the two things are for different purposes. Smart Scan is if we were dealing with loose documents, but here we're dealing with photography, so we're going to use Fast Photo, or Fotofast I should say. So click that once, and we're going to start scanning. So that's the button top left. We now are given the choice of where to place the images on the file server. So two pieces of information to provide. One is the year, so we're in 2023, and then the subject matter will typically be on the box. You'll find a label there. This one reads PR049, so that means it's a print and it's box number 49. And then there'll be some general text about the subject matter. What we want to see in the subject matter is 049 as the code, and then something useful to describe it. So this particular one contains images of diesels and electrics, so we will put the word diesels there. There's a checkbox to make sure that a subfolder is created for these, and then we start scanning. And as you'll see, the machine now starts to work through the stack. Now, whilst that's happening, prepare your next stack. Get them aligned correctly. And we're not going to just wait until this particular batch is finished. We're going to be ready to feed the next part in as soon as the last card goes through. So let's just wait for that. And I drop the next pack in, and you'll see that it just continues to scan. Now those can go back into the box, and I'll have something to keep them separate there. Prepare my next batch. And notice how I sort of drop the prints in place. It just helps to encourage the first print to go through the rollers. Now the question is, do we carry on working like that through the entire box? Well, no. My suggestion is that we stop after 3 or 4 of those batches and give the software time to save the files to the file server. And whilst that's happening, we can still carry on working. So essentially that is it. We're ready to now do the next batch and so on. The software has scanned both sides of the image and saved them to the file server. So the front has a suffix of A on the file name, and the back is B. In addition to operating the scanner, there's a certain amount of cleaning to be done depending on the media that you're using. I find that if we're using prints, the cleaning is not onerous, but when dealing with loose documents, particularly if the paper gives off a lot of fibres, then we need to clean the inside of the scanner fairly often. Now at the first level, it's simply a matter of opening the top and having a good blow to get rid of the dust that might have accumulated in there. But if you need to do a more thorough clean, you'll find that there are some disposable wipes available here, and these are for cleaning there are 2 sheets of glass inside the scanner which need to be wiped thoroughly to remove any adhesion that's happened to those. So I'll show you in the next shot where the glasses are and what you need to clean in there. So here's the inside of the scanner, and the glasses you'll see are these white items here and here. So these are what you need to clean thoroughly with the wet wipes.